As I shared with you, many of you before, clean air is personal for me, and I know that it's personal for you. Board members, partners, donors, all of you are pivotal as we move forward in our goal for better air. Recently, my mother was going through old letters her father, my grandfather, wrote to my grandmother. About a month before they got married, in March of 1946, he was looking to buy some property where they could build a home. He was here in Salt Lake, and she was in Sacramento. During this time, he wrote to her, addressing the letter, "Darling," quote, "I'm looking at a couple of lots this evening. They lie at 9th South and 22nd East and are out of the smoke district. I'll write more about them after I see them," end quote. Over 70 years ago, when they were building their first house, they were looking to be out of the inversion. 2259 Hubbard Avenue is where my mother grew up. She went to East High School. I tell you this story to illustrate that poor air quality is not a new problem, but something that we have been dealing with in this valley for a very long time. What we do know is that things are getting better. We are making progress. And tonight, I'm excited to share with you some of the stories of progress. Through our aggregated efforts, UCAIR has had one of its most successful years since founding. As you're likely aware, UCAIR operates on three foundational elements, what I call our pillars. First, we educate Utahns about actions they can take to be part of the air quality solution. Second, we partner with like-minded organizations and businesses to have a greater collective impact. And third, through our grants program, we provide funding for innovative ideas that measurably reduce emissions across the state. I'd like to share with you some highlights of each of these areas. First, education. When UCAIR began as an organization, it was founded upon the premise that educating the public about the impact of individual behaviors and how each Utahn could be part of air quality solution was the key to change. But we knew it was not going to be easy. Air quality in Utah is a serious problem to solve, and we need serious people to solve it. There are those that are not the least bit interested in solving it. They're interested in two things, and two things only: making you afraid of it and telling you who's to blame for it. That, my friends, is how you get your name in the paper and how you raise money. That's not character, it's not integrity, it's not winning the right way. UCAIR trusts the people, and our data shows that they deserve this trust. Since inception, UCAIR has worked tirelessly to educate Utahns both about the contributing sources of emissions as well as how they can take part in decreasing their impacts. As with any effort, we wanted to see how well we were doing in meeting our educational objectives. This past September, we partnered with Lighthouse Research to survey Utahns and were ecstatic to find out that years of hard work are paying off. 52% of Utahns surveyed said, unaided, that vehicles, mobile sources, contribute most to poor air quality. This is almost the direct inverse to what the perception was 6 years ago, when 56% attributed our poor air quality to industrial sources. Additionally, 57% acknowledged unaided that they were responsible for solutions, not government, not their neighbor, individuals. Based on this data, we have doubled down on educating everyone on easy things we can do, not idling, carpooling, riding transit, walking, biking, skipping the trip, to continue to help improve our air quality. While great accomplishments and progress have been made, I am energized by the new challenge Governor Herbert reaffirmed during his State of the State address last week to reduce our per capita emissions by 25% by 2026. Governor, UCAIR and its partners are up to this challenge. Next, let's talk about partnership. By partnering with some of Utah's most recognizable companies and organizations, we have made giant leaps towards better air. In the past 6 months alone, more than 400 Utahns were able to swap their gas-powered snowblowers for electric snowblowers in exchange where we partnered with Rocky Mountain Power and the Department of Environmental Quality. Those 400 were the lucky ones. More than 12,000 people signed up to be part of the solution. And thousands of Utahns received funds to exchange their wood-burning stoves or fireplaces for a clean-burning gas appliance in a wood stove exchange in partnership with the Department of Environmental Quality. That wood stove exchange was a successful follow on an inaugural exchange program kicked off in 2017 with Chevron and Marathon. We're working closely with Ivory Homes as they seek to plant 30,000 trees over the next 3 years. And tonight, we would like to announce 2 additional programs that will take place in the coming months. First, due to the success of a program in 2015, we have partnered with Boeing and Union Pacific for another Show UCAIR gas can exchange. We plan to roll this out just before Earth Day so we can help people reduce their NOx and VOCs this spring. Second, in partnership with Chevron and Marathon, tonight we are announcing the Show UCAIR Ultra Low NOx Water Heater Rebate Program. When a homeowner switches to an ultra-low NOx water heater, it reduces NOx emissions by 75% compared to a standard water heater. The Show UCAIR Water Heater Rebate Program will offer eligible homeowners a rebate to cover 50% of the total purchase price, including sales tax and installation of a new ultra-low NOx water heater up to $500. We will be launching this program in the next couple weeks. Further, in the name of partnership, I'd like to highlight some of our friends doing good work within their own organizations. AT&T has been leading out in a number of ways. They have a beautiful building in the central part of the valley with their name on it, but in the past years, they've moved from having a building full of AT&T employees to about 6, with the rest teleworking. The space has been converted to hoteling space and rental space that has generated additional revenue for them. By encouraging and empowering their people to decrease their emissions, they are making a real difference in our air and in their bottom line. Additionally, their services could help you and your organizations set up a teleworking system. Another example of a company proactively contributing is Maverick through their commitment to electric vehicle charging. As you know, Maverick's slogan is Adventure's First Stop. Through partnerships with the Governor's Office of Energy Development, UCAIR, and Rocky Mountain Power, many of the charging stations on I-80, I-15, and I-70 are found at Mavericks, increasing charging options and decreasing range anxiety for EV owners on a wide variety of adventures throughout our state. And finally, our partner, Utah Clean Cities Coalition, has been working across Utah to have cities commit to be idle-free. To date, 8 cities and 4 prominent school districts have idle-free ordinances thanks to their effort. Additionally, if you have a fleet and are interested in alternative ways to fuel that fleet, Utah Clean Cities is the go-to resource on alternative fuels. Our third pillar is providing funding to organizations that have innovative ideas to further help clear our air, but who may lack the funding to bring these ideas to reality. This is where your support is so crucial. Without your contributions, this funding to catalyze change wouldn't be possible. This year, through your generosity, UCAIR was able to provide funding to 12 organizations, 2 more than last year. These funds will help bring about new electric vehicle charging stations led by Leaders for Clean Air, a smart thermostat exchange for disadvantaged individuals in Rose Park, led by Utah Clean Energy and Utah Community Action, help with exchanging a gas-powered maintenance vehicle for a low-emission one for Green Bike, and backing the Salt Lake Chamber's Clear the Air Challenge that started February 1st, and I hope all of you, your friends, family, and colleagues are participating in. For a full list of grant recipients, please check your program. Now, last year, I spoke about cycling, and we spent the majority of the evening talking about basketball. One thing that many of you may know about me is that I'm very, very indoorsy. I don't know why that's funny. Okay. However, I am a big baseball guy. I worked in the minor league system of the Arizona Diamondbacks for 3 seasons and spent my mid-30s working for Major League Baseball on assignment in Australia. Now, I know I'm not the only baseball fan here. I had the great pleasure of sitting next to the governor at a Washington National game this fall. We talked about his love of the Mickey Mantle-led Yankee teams, and let me tell you, the governor knows baseball. Now, Major League Baseball had just purchased the rights to a winter league in Australia when they asked me to move from New Jersey, where I was serving on a city council, to Canberra to be the general manager of the Canberra Cavalry, one of the 6 teams in the Australian Baseball League. The ABL had just finished their first season, and I was asked to go run the team and grow the game. The Cavalry came in last place, losing every single road game that year before I got there, and I inherited a manager that, in my opinion, wanted to be a buddy with the players and enjoy his time in Australia more than win. So after finishing in last place, my first year running the team, we made some changes. We brought in a new manager, a young Aussie with 10 years of minor league experience, and he and I went to work. We finished that regular season in first place and went into the ABL Championship Series poised to win, but still listed as underdogs against the Perth Heat, the team that had 3 current major leaguers and a long lineage of baseball in that region of Australia. It was a best-of-3 series. We won Game 1 6-4 going away. The afternoon of the next game, the manager came in for his usual pregame meeting. We walked through our lineup and their lineup. We talked about pitching situations and different strategies. I asked him what his plan was for the players leading up to the game. He said that they were going to do the usual batting practice, and after, he wanted to do PFPs, pitcher fielding practice. Now I was confused. PFPs are what teams do the first few days of spring training, not the day of a deciding championship game. I asked him what his thoughts were. He said that he hadn't done them in a while, that you can't be too prepared, and then this is the kicker. He said, you know, Tom, it's going to be the little things that win us this championship. Well, Perth scored 2 in the top of the first. We answered with 1 in the bottom of the inning, 4 in the second, and 1 more in the third to go up 6-2 after 3. I was feeling really good for a bit. Then Perth came storming back and tied the game up with 4 runs in the 5th, and things were really tense. I was able to breathe a little easier when one of our guys hit a solo home run in the bottom of the 7th. If we could hold them for 6 more outs, we would be champions. The 8th inning was scoreless. Now, we had set up a VIP tent area for the game that had piles and piles of hot dogs. Maybe you've heard of stress eating. Well, I'm very familiar with it. So I was huddled in the back of that tent for that last inning, shoveling hot dogs into my mouth like I was Joey Chestnut, hoping that something good would happen. We got the first 2 batters out in the top of the 9th. Then our pitcher faltered and walked the next guy, putting the tying run on first and bringing the winning run up. Then the most amazing thing happened. The batter hit a hard ground ball back up the box, right at the pitcher. He knocked it down, picked it up, and softly tossed it over to first base, just like he had practiced a few hours earlier. We had done it. We had won. After the confetti, the trophy, the speeches, once the TV cameras had turned off and the crowd had headed home, our manager and I had a chance to talk with our closer about that play. I asked him what he was going through his mind. He said, you know, I've always been a little nervous when the ball gets hit back to me. I get nervous about throwing the ball into right and not being able to make the play. What made the difference today was that we practiced it. It seemed simple and a little silly at the time, but boy, am I glad we did PFPs today. I'm glad we did PFPs that day, and I'm happily wearing the championship ring from that season tonight. Now, I have a lot of great stories from my time in Australia, but when I thought about addressing you tonight about the progress we've made with UCAIR this year, this is the one that jumped to my mind. Let me tell you why. In the 16 months that I've been the executive director of UCAIR, there are times when I feel like a broken record. There are times when it feels like I'm spouting off the same 6 or 7 changes Utahns can make to help clear our air. There have been times when I wonder if the message is working. Are these actions, like PFPs before a championship game, worth the time and effort? Well, I'm here tonight to report that it is all worth the effort. People are joining the cause, and we are seeing success. We have been asking people to do their own versions of PFPs, and they are signing up to play. It has been said that decisions are made by those who show up. It has also been said that decisions determine destiny. Look around the room. You and everyone here tonight has shown up in the middle of a snowstorm. By being in this room tonight, you have raised your hand to say, I'm in. You have joined the team. So you and I have a chance to decide what is our destiny. What future do we want? What decision will you make today that will continue to help shape our success? The success of your companies, organizations, families, communities, neighborhoods, and by extension, our state. As I've been sharing decisions made by our partners in the private and public sectors, my hope is that you've had an idea of something you can do as an individual or as an organization. And my invitation is simple. Decide now to act. Decide now, tonight, to make the change. And together, we will shape Utah's destiny one success under clear skies. Thank you very much.